Have you ever felt, well, just overwhelmed by information, especially, ancient texts?
Happens all the time.
We had this fascinating material from you, research on the Epistle of James, and the question kept coming up. How can this ancient wisdom possibly be a shortcut for navigating modern life? Like leading a team or just trying to be a better person?
Well, you've hit on something really important there. Today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly that.
Yeah.
One of the most practical and I think profound books in the New Testament, the Epistle of James.
Right. And our mission today really is to unpack its timeless ethical teachings.
Yeah, see how they apply.
See how they apply directly to your challenges, your goals right now. It feels like a masterclass in turning belief into actual behavior.
Absolutely. And we'll be drawing from, historical accounts of the first century Roman Empire, plus some really in-depth studies of James's ethical thought.
To get the context.
Exactly. To understand the context and, crucially, the enduring relevance of his message, why it still speaks today.
Okay, let's open this up then. Let's jump in. To really get James, we need to step back. What was the world like when he was writing? What was happening in the first century Roman Empire?
Well, it was a really dynamic time. And often turbulent. You had these huge architectural projects going on, things like the Colosseum starting to be built, symbols of Roman power.
Wow.
And historical records show attempts at economic reform, trying to manage things. But it was also a time of huge change, especially for Jewish communities scattered across the empire.
Right, the dispersion.
Yeah, living as a minority under this massive imperial rule, constant shifts, constant pressure.
So in the middle of all that, who was this James?
Yeah, the author.
The most likely candidate, and what the sources really point to, is Jesus' younger half-brother.
Okay.
He was a devout Jew, became a key leader, an elder in that early Christian community back in Jerusalem. There's even an account of Christ appearing to him after the resurrection. That must have been pivotal.
Absolutely. And this letter, this epistle, it's considered really early, right? Maybe 40, 50 A.B.
Mm-hmm.
What clues in the text itself suggest that? Well, what's really interesting is what's not there. It's silent on the big debates that came later.
Right.
Like the whole issue with Gentile Christians and Jewish law, or Paul's arguments about grace. If it was written after the Council of Jerusalem in 51 AD, which James actually led, by the way.
Right, he chaired it.
Exactly. You'd expect some mention of the decisions made there. But there's nothing. Plus, the church structure described feels very, primitive is maybe the word. It mirrors synagogue customs more than the later hierarchy with bishops and deacons.
Ah, okay, so that points to an early date too. And who was he writing to? Was it a general letter?
Primarily, it seems, to Jewish Christians living outside Judea in the eastern dispersion, scattered across the empire.
And coming from him, Jesus' brother, a leader in Jerusalem.
It would have carried enormous weight, yeah. A very respected figure.
It's still amazing, though, that even with all that, it wasn't instantly accepted into the New Testament canon. There were questions.
That's right. It faced a bit of difficulty initially, maybe because James wasn't one of the original 12 apostles. But its practical wisdom, its ethical depth just couldn't be denied. It gained firm acceptance pretty quickly. Centuries later, someone like John Calvin praised its richness instruction on patience, prayer, humility, controlling the tongue, seeking peace. Just so much practical stuff.
It was useful.
Exactly. It resonated because it worked in real life.
So for you, listening now, understanding who James was, the world he inhabited, it really helps us grasp the weight of his words. It's not just theory. It's guidance forged in a complex reality. Okay, let's shift gears. Building inner strength. James kicks off with this paradox. Count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. That sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? Enjoy suffering.
It does sound counterintuitive, absolutely. But James isn't saying, woohoo, hardship. No.
Right.
He's pushing us to look beyond the immediate pain to the results, the beneficial outcomes. He suggests these tests aren't meant to make us fail, but actually to help us soar. They're opportunities.
Opportunities, not just obstacles. I like that reframe. But how does that actually work if you're in the middle of a crisis, a business failing, a personal struggle?
Right.
How do you even start to see it that way? What does soaring look like then?
Well, challenges are just part of life, aren't they? For everyone. And our sources emphasize that a key test, whether you're a leader or just trying to get through the day, is how you handle difficulty. James encourages focusing on possibilities. You know the saying, take lemons and make lemonade. It's that kind of spirit. Persevere. Go over, under, around, or straight through the barrier. It's about resilience, finding creative solutions, not just giving up.
So it's not just about surviving. It's about being shaped, tempered by the experience. Like steel, he says, you become perfect and entire, wanting nothing. That sounds like more than just coping. It sounds like becoming complete, fit for purpose.
Exactly. Through that testing, impurity gets purged. You gain this unswerving constancy, rock-solid character. And that constancy makes you fit for the task, which he was sent into the world to do. It actually equips you for your purpose.
Okay, but when you're in that difficult spot, feeling lost, how do you find the wisdom to navigate it? Where does that come from?
James has a clear answer. Ask God. Ask for creative ideas. Don't just rely on your own limited abilities or knowledge.
So tap into something bigger.
Precisely. Tap into an endless source of knowledge and creativity. Think about the potential if more people approached problems that way, whether in business strategy or personal dilemmas. Not just trying harder, but accessing divine insight.
James also warns leaders, well, really all of us, to guard our hearts. What's he getting at there? Is it about emotions?
It's more about the dangers of success, actually, what the sources call the traps of success, like getting arrogant, adopting that lording it over them attitude.
Okay, power corrupting.
Right. James champions servant leadership. Whether you have a title or not, he's warning against the intoxication of success, staying humble, staying focused on serving others no matter how high you climb.
So the takeaway here for you is this powerful framework for growth. Difficulties aren't dead ends. They're actually opportunities to build character, gain wisdom, and become more resilient, more effective. Now, James also digs deep into how faith should impact our relationships, how we treat other people, starting with tricky issues like wealth and status.
Yeah, and remember, he lived in a society with huge disparities, where the rich often exploited the poor.
Still relevant today, sadly.
Very much so. James says Christianity doesn't automatically change your bank balance, but it must change your outlook. The poor find inherent worth before God, a dignity money can't buy. The wealthy, they're challenged to be humble, to let go of the anxiety of just accumulating more stuff.
It's a perspective shift.
Exactly, regardless of your material circumstances.
And he really doesn't mince words about injustice, does he?
Not at all. He slams showing partiality based on wealth. He says, point blank, the rich often oppress you and drag you to the law courts. Yeah. He reminds everyone how short life is, how temporary wealth is, like a flower that fades. It's a reality check against putting your trust in money or using it to control people.
So if wealth and status aren't the measures, what is? What's the guiding principle? He calls it the royal law.
It's profoundly simple. Love your neighbor as yourself.
The golden rule, essentially.
Yeah, he calls it a changeless law of love.
Right.
It should govern all our interactions, showing favoritism, judging by appearances. That's breaking this fundamental law. It's a sin.
Then he pivots to something incredibly powerful, maybe even a bit scary. The tongue. Our words. How does he illustrate their impact?
He uses these incredibly vivid images. The tongue is small, he says, but it causes vast and unending effects, like a tiny bit in a horse's mouth that turns the whole animal.
Or a rudder on a ship.
Exactly, or a small rudder guiding a huge ship. But then the morning comes. It can also be a fire, a world of iniquity. It can set your whole life ablaze, metaphorically speaking, and it's full of deadly poison.
Wow. That's intense. It suggests a real inconsistency in us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Using the same tool for blessing and cursing.
Absolutely. He points out how inconsistent it is to praise God one minute and tear down someone made in God's image the next. It reveals a divided heart, he says. Like a spring can't produce both fresh and salt water.
Right.
Yet we do it all the time, don't we? It shows that internal conflict.
So what does this mean for you, living in this age of, well, nonstop communication? Social media, email, Slack, texts.
It means the responsibility is immense. James says, if any stumbleth not in word, the same is a perfect man, which basically means nobody's perfect.
Huh? Yeah. Good luck with that.
Right. No one perfectly controls their tongue. It's a constant daily effort to be mindful of the power our words carry to build up or to destroy.
And finally, in this section on relationships, how does mercy fit in? Especially towards people we might disagree with or feel judgmental towards.
He makes this incredibly powerful statement. He who acts without mercy will have judgment without mercy. But then adds, mercy triumphs over judgment.
Mercy triumphs.
Yes. The implication is, if you are merciful to others, you will find mercy for your own failings. It's not just about following rules. It's an internal response driven by God-given love. The grace you give is the grace you get, essentially.
So for you, this whole segment is a call to examine how you treat people, especially those who are different, and to really weigh the impact of your words every single day.
Okay, let's talk about the connection to God. James hammers home this idea that faith must lead to action. being doers of the word and not hearers only. What's the core idea here?
This is really central to the whole letter. Our sources call it a wedding of ethereal theology and practical ethics. It's not enough just to listen to sermons or talk about religious ideas.
Right, nodding along in church isn't the point.
Exactly. True religion, for James, is hearing and doing. Just hearing. That's like glancing in a mirror and instantly forgetting what you look like. It's superficial. It doesn't change anything. Faith has to be active.
How does he illustrate that link, that inseparable connection between faith and works? He uses some strong examples. He really does. He insists on this inseparable partnership. He points out, controversially perhaps, that even demons believe in God. They intellectually acknowledge his existence, but it doesn't change who they are.
Good point. Belief isn't enough.
Right, true. Living faith always results in action. He points to Abraham's willingness to sacrifice Isaac or Rahab hiding the spies. These weren't acts to earn faith, but acts demonstrating the faith they already had. His famous line sums it up. Faith without works is dead.
Just an empty shell.
Precisely.
James also brings up prayer and healing together. It seems like a very holistic view of well-being.
It is. He encourages praying for those who are suffering. And he mentions calling the elders to anoint the sick with oil. This was rooted in Jewish tradition, often linking illness and sin, but the focus is on the power of sincere prayer and confession.
The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much.
That's the one. It's about active, faith-filled, compassionate care within the community.
What else does James teach us about God's own nature? And how should that shape how you, the listener, see the world and live your life?
God is portrayed as the Father of lights. Consistent, unchanging, morally perfect, the source of all good things. And crucially, God does not tempt anyone with evil. That's vital.
Okay.
He's also the ultimate lawgiver and judge, which is why James warns us against judging each other. That's stepping into God's role. It should foster humility in us.
So given this powerful, perfect, yet accessible God, how can you draw near to him? Especially with all the challenges and distractions of life.
James gives a very direct invitation. It's a two-step. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you.
Simple but profound.
It is. And he links it to moral purity, basically, making an effort to align your life, your actions, with God's character. It requires conscious effort, intentionality.
And that seems to be the ultimate payoff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A faith that's not just internal, but lived out.
Exactly. Following God means becoming doers of his word. True religion involves deeds, not just profession or creed. It's the walk matching the talk.
So for you, James's picture of God provides this solid foundation for a faith that's deeply personal, yes, but also incredibly active and engaged with the world around you.
We've really dug deep into James today, haven't we? It's such a practical guide, bridging that ancient wisdom with the challenges you face right now.
Absolutely. His teachings push us, challenge us, how we face trials, build inner strength.
How we treat others, the power of our words.
And fundamentally, how faith becomes action, how belief translates into behavior. It really is a blueprint for integrity.
It's that call for the inseparable partnership, isn't it? Belief and behavior working together. And underpinning it all is this picture of God. Unchanging, compassionate, powerful, ready to connect with anyone who seeks him.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now, reflecting on James? Maybe ask yourself, what's one area? Your relationship with yourself, maybe?
Yeah.
Or with others? Or with God? Where is James challenging you to move from just hearing to actually doing?
Yeah. What's one small practical step you could take this week? Just one thing to bridge that gap and live out a faith that's truly alive, truly active in every part of your life.